Namaskar. This is Dada Ranjitananda. Welcome to our course on the Bhagavad Gita according to Tantra. And today we are going for the lesson number 4. So in this lesson, we are going to talk about the meaning of the word Bhagavan. We are going to talk about the meaning of the word Gita. We talked already a little bit, but we will add a few things, and we are going to talk about the meaning of the word Bharata. Just a review to see where we stand on the course so far. The first lesson was an overview of the Bhagavad Gita, the Mahabharata, just to have kind of a global picture in how it relates to Tantra. And lesson number 2 and 3, we were concentrating on the meaning of Krishna, historical, philosophical, biological, according to the system of Raja Yoga, because basically everything here goes around Krishna or happens around Krishna. So it's very important to get the right meaning, the deeper meaning, and to understand the expressions of Krishna, historical, biological, philosophical. Today, we are going to concentrate also on the meaning of 3 words. Now, why we are doing that? It's because every word utilized in the Gita, it also transmits a certain deeper meaning. So you can read the same word, and if you can understand one thing or you can understand another thing. So that's why we are going for the details according to the idea of Tantra. Last time I remember I mentioned about you preparing like a glossary of the main words. I put a few of the main words here, but I'm not going to go into details on it. But for a future presentation, to have a global idea of the course, I will go into it. So you work on your side, making like a glossary, a list of all the Sanskrit words which are coming, and you can also add a meaning so that at one glance you can see the words and the meaning, and that will help you to understand the course and to follow the course. Okay, let's start on today's presentation then. So remember that you can ask questions or make comments using the chat window. I usually keep it open so I can observe what's going on. So if you have anything you want to share, you want to ask, you want me to repeat, please type it there. So what is Bhagavan? We talked a bit about it in the beginning. So Bhagavan means the owner of Bhaga. So the point now is, what is this Bhaga? And another thing is that many words in Sanskrit are actually a collection of words. Like in the case of Bhaga, there is Bha, which it's a word in itself, and Ga comes from gachati, or moving, coming and going. Bha it comes from that one that infuses the joy of living. So when you put Bha, Ga together, you come that is the one who comes and goes and infuses the joy of living in that movement. So that's Bhaga, Bhaga. But Bhaga is also a collection of 6 attributes. And there is a Sanskrit shloka, Aishvaryancha, Samagrancha, Virancha, Yasha Sa, Shriya, Gyan, Vairagya, Yoscha, Tus Sanam, Bhaga Isti Smritam. Bhaga is a collection of 6 attributes, which are Aishvarya, Virya, Yasha, Shri, Gyan, and Vairagya. Let's see these. So Aishvarya are the occult powers, 8 occult powers. We'll see one by one in a moment. Then we have Virya, commanding authority. It means the capacity to command. Like in the Mahabharata, Krishna was just the charioteer of Arjuna. It means he's just supposed to drive the chariot, but basically he was guiding the whole thing and commanding Arjuna in the crucial moments. Yasha, reputation. The reputation here, Bhagavan has 2 kinds of reputation. One is very positive, the other one is very negative. So it's kind of polarizing. Those who love him is like love to the maximum. Those who hate is hate to the maximum. So it's like Bhagavan creates this polarization. So it has very positive reputation, at the same time very negative reputation. Shri, charm, fascination, attraction. Gyan, spiritual knowledge. And Vairagya, renunciation. So I made a figure like this just that it becomes easy. So you have 6 attributes for Bhaga, and now in one page you get all of them: the occult powers, the commanding authority, reputation, charm, spiritual knowledge, and renunciation. Now let's go to these occult powers. When we think about occult powers, we usually think that somebody, in this case will be a very developed personality, very elevated personality, will have powers and will be using these powers. And but let's see, take another view on these powers. So the first power is anima, is the power to become very small. Now, this power to become very small, it means that it doesn't actually mean that the physical body will go on reducing, become very small, but it is the power that one can enter in the smallest physical particle and also the smallest mental particle. You know, the physical, we are used to understanding physical substance. Let's say something that we touch, like this is made of cloth, so I can touch, this is a physical substance. But there is also mental substance. In philosophy, we call it ectoplasm. This ectoplasm, you can't touch it, you can't see it with your normal senses, but it is, we can also say it is like a substance, more subtle than physical, but it's a mental substance. So mind is also made of substance. And at the same way that there are particles of physical particles, we can say also there are mental particles. And this power of becoming small gives the capacity to penetrate the small particles of mind. So to understand or to penetrate any mind into the deepest. And then that's the power to become small, to become so small that can penetrate every physical and mental structure. Then the second power, okay, the first is to become small, the second to become big. Anima becomes small, Mahima becomes big. So becoming big here also doesn't mean that the physical body will expand and become very big like a monster. No, it is the mind can expand to include the whole universe. You know, imagine if, for example, if it takes us a certain number of light years to travel from this planet to another planet, because we are moving physically, and our mind is moving with this physical body. So it will take so many light years to move from one place to another place. But we can also expand the mind. So if the whole universe is within the mind, so there is no, it doesn't need any time to go anywhere. So this mind can expand and includes the whole universe. And what's the consequence? Usually we like everything that is within us. So if the whole universe is within us, if we feel we are the whole universe, then we also have a lot of love for everything in this universe. So we cannot hate anything that is part of us. So this Mahima is this power to expand, include the whole universe. Anima is this power to become very small, penetrate each and everything. Then there is Laghima. Laghima is to become light. If the body is light, it can fly. If the mind is light, it means the mind can understand other minds. A very light mind can perceive deeper, can understand other minds. So that is Laghima. And next one is Prapti, is to obtain any desired object or result. It means what one thinks happens. That's Prapti. Now, as you see on these occult powers, they are basically giving more capacity to do more good. Next one is Ishitwa, to control. Ishwara is the controller. Ishitwa, to control. Supreme control. Control to guide other minds in the right direction. You know, like in our planet today, every day we receive different news. And then we think, how could that person do that action? You know, people are doing many actions guided by some kind of philosophy. Maybe that philosophy they learn from somebody. So their minds are being influenced by certain people to do certain actions. Now, with this Ishitwa, one can guide other minds and in the right direction. Next is Vashitva, to psychically dominate others. So like Krishna, just by his presence, he already had a psychic influence on the mind of other people. So everybody would listen to him, would stop for him. Then two more, Prakamya, to materialize the desired outcome of events. The Mahabharata itself developed in a certain way. The whole battle went on and it went in a certain direction. That was guided by Prakamya. And the last one is Antaramitva. This is kind of to be omniscient, to know the inner thought, the inner wave, the inner need of every entity. So that is Antaramitva. Now, we may feel tempted, yes, I should also have these occult powers, then I can do so much good. But we can observe that one can do good, one can also create problems with these occult powers. So now, in the different stories, spiritual stories, always say that one should not really want these occult powers. I think I remember one story was that Vivekananda Ramakrishna asked Vivekananda if he wanted to have the occult powers. And he replied that, are they going to help me? Then Ramakrishna said, no, they will not help you. They can even hamper your progress. So he said, no, don't want it. So in the same way, usually a spiritualist may even have these powers, the capacity to have these powers, but having them is a problem and can only create more difficulties on the spiritual path. Because sometimes mind is very difficult to control. It can go any direction. Some different wave will come in the mind and one has a lot of power and may use it in the wrong direction. Okay, so these are the 6 bhagas. So the first one was 8. So there was 8 occult powers plus another 5. So it makes like 13 characteristics that one can recognize Bhagavan. Now, the Gita, the Bhagavad Gita, the song of Bhagavan, who sang the Gita was Sri Krishna. So Krishna is Bhagavan. Now Krishna being Bhagavan, he has all the bhagas. Now, going through the Mahabharata and the Gita, one can keep the mind to, because there is also the demonstration that Krishna had all those characteristics. So first is giving the philosophy. What is Bhagavan? One who has all these 6 characteristics. And then there is the whole poem, the whole Mahabharata, where it demonstrates that, yes, Krishna had these characteristics. So Krishna was Bhagavan. That's why there is Bhagavad Gita, the song of Bhagavan, and Bhagavan is Krishna. So that opens the point for the next word, which is the Gita. Sa Ya Bhagavad Gita. So Gita is the expression of Bhagavan. Now, Bhagavan, okay, Krishna is Bhagavan. Now the Gita is his expression. So what is the Gita actually? Is Bhagavan telling us his secrets. A human being will not be able to come up with the secrets of Bhagavan. Only Bhagavan can tell his own secrets. So the Bhagavad Gita is Bhagavan, sung by Bhagavan. So basically it's Bhagavan telling his own secrets. So maybe by that time Krishna thought that human beings are now developed enough that they can understand certain things, so I'm going to review that. And if I stick to the timeline of 3,500 years, that was the time of historical Krishna. So if it is so, he was also thinking about the next 3,500 years. So whatever he was revealing, maybe the people of that time would not understand, but people later on, as the people become more developed intellectually and maybe spiritually, they are more capable of understanding the secrets of Bhagavan, which is whatever he gave in the Bhagavad Gita. So that is the interesting thing about the Gita and the meaning of this word Gita. It's something that is coming directly from Bhagavan. So it is something that only Bhagavan knows and is revealing to the human beings in the form of this story. One thing about all these scriptures is that when they were given, there was no written script, there was no script, so it was not written. So basically it was memorized. So in India, or in Bharatavarsha on those days, there was this tradition of memorizing. So people would memorize everything and pass from generation to generation. So the shlokas. So that's why they used to make all these shlokas in Sanskrit, these verses. And those verses they memorize and they just will chant it. And that's how it got preserved up to today. And, well, it was preserved up to the time that it was written down. Okay. So, and finally here the third point is that the Gita is the call of the Supreme. Is the Supreme here is calling human beings to where? To himself. So that is basically the Gita. He is telling how to reach himself. Okay, the spirit of the Gita encourages one to do. So like Arjuna lost hope, didn't want to fight, was feeling powerless. What Krishna did? No, you have to do, you have to act, you have to do your part. So we have to do it, we have to march, we have to move. What direction? The direction is towards spirituality. We are acting in the world, but our real movement is not something in the physical world, it's something in the spiritual world. But at the same time, we cannot forget the we can't forget the world we are living in. There is a tendency in people who, let's say, follow certain spiritual scriptures or lifestyles that tend to neglect the external world and only think that everything is the inner world. There is a very strong movement saying that the external world is an illusion, it's Maya. And the only truth is, let's say, Brahma, the Supreme. So only spirituality is the truth, and the rest is just an illusion, it's Maya. Now, that makes people care less for the society, for the world, and creates a lot of imbalance. But that's not what's in the Gita. The Gita is, you are here, you are in this battle, you have to fight, you have to do your part, you have to do your action. At the same time, keep your mind in the spiritual goal. So that's the Bhagavad Gita, the song of Bhagavan. All right, so that was the second word. So first was Bhagavan, then Gita. Now, the third word for today is Bharata. So we already saw Bharata Varsha. We already talked about Bharata. But here it's coming because Krishna is addressing Arjuna as Bharata. So now if Krishna is saying that, so there must be some deeper meaning in that address. Why choosing that word? So the meaning of bar plus al is the provider of food. And ta is expansion or progress. Progress in all spheres of life, global progress. So a spiritual name has a meaning. Always a spiritual name has a meaning. Now, if we have a spiritual name, it has a meaning. What is that meaning? That meaning is teaching us something. It's also kind of a little bit guiding our behavior or giving a little bit direction in our life. Each and every human being is a different expression. And each and every human being will have a different name. And that name may be unique, or maybe two people will have the same names. It can happen also, but maybe sometimes it's also unique. And that name is related to inner inspiration for that individual. So in this case here, it's like Krishna is saying Bharata. So, and Bharata means that one who provides food and also global progress, means all-round progress. So that is what Arjuna has to strive for, what Arjuna has to work for, to provide in all spheres of life, not only physical, but also mental and also spiritual. So he is in the Gita, he is being addressed as Bharata to remind that it is not only he is to fight in the physical world, he's also to fight in the mental world, he's also to fight in the spiritual world. So Bharata creates this idea that it is one that provides, so is providing, feeding, but not only to the physical material world, but also providing to the mental world, providing to the spiritual world. So that makes life complete. So that is the teaching that Krishna is giving just by using this word Bharata. One thing about words in the scriptures is that most words have different meanings. Like there is one scripture says that if one will die in Kashi, that one will not be reborn. So the idea is that in India, people in general have this idea of the cycle of life and death, of reincarnation. So one is born and then dies and then is born again and has to go through this until one can liberate oneself and reach the salvation or liberation. Okay, so there is this cycle. So if one doesn't need to be reborn, it means one reach the goal. So the scripture says that if one will die in Kashi, then one doesn't need to be reborn. Now Kashi is also the city, Varanasi. It's just another name for Varanasi. So Varanasi is the sacred holy town of India. People think that when I'm very old, if I go there and if I die there, I will not be reborn. It means I will reach my spiritual goal. Therefore, many people are taken there to die. And if we go by the river there, we'll see so many burning grounds, so that it can burn all the people who go there to die there. Because they think that if they die there, they will not be reborn. Now, okay, we can read the scripture like that and we can go into that flow. But if we read the inner meaning, the Varanasi is not a town, but it is actually a point within the human structure, one chakra, which is just below the Sahasrara chakra. So just below the seventh chakra. We've been talking about the Sahasrara chakra related to Krishna. So this Varanasi is the point just there below the Sahasrara chakra. And the idea is that if one can fix one's mind or elevates one's consciousness to the level of that chakra, then when one will die at that level, then that one doesn't need to be reborn because we reach his or her destination. So that is the real meaning of that scripture. But as you see, there are two completely different meanings. And there will be all these religious expressions, all these priests, all this paraphernalia in India related to people dying in Varanasi. So many people die in Varanasi. So many priests being employed to help the people die in Varanasi so that they can reach the liberation. But it is basically a very narrow understanding of the scripture. And okay, there is a question, is Varanasi chakra the same as Guru chakra? Yes, I guess that's the one. So so that's one thing. Since we are regarding the Guru chakra, which is a very important chakra for meditation, I just remember one more thing, that In one of the books of Shishyanandamurti, he said that that point of the Guru Chakra, if one will check within one's head that point, it has a certain shape, and the shape is like the tip of the kusha grass. It's a type of grass in India. So he said in his book, Shishyanandamurti, that this Guru Chakra, that point, has the shape of this kusha grass. So I did a search for this kusha grass, and I wanted to see how it looks. So as I do the search, what comes back is kusha grass, the holy grass of India. So the kusha grass now became holy. And so what it was saying that you should, for meditation, you should sit on the kusha grass, means you should make an asana made of kusha grass. So they sell mats made of kusha grass so that you can buy the mat and you can sit on it and you can do meditation, then you can reach the goal. But what's the real meaning of it? What's the inner meaning? Asana is not only something external, like in this case, the asana will be the place where you sit. It's called the asana. So they say it's a mat made of kusha grass. Sit on it, meditate there. But asana is also the place where you put your mind. They also use this terminology. You sit your mind on that place. So it means you sit on that asana. So what's the idea here is that you will put your mind on that point, and that point has the shape of kusha grass, but you have to put your mind on that point and meditate. Not you will buy a mat of kusha grass and you will sit on it and then you meditate, then you can reach the goal. Therefore, when we study the scriptures, we read something, it may be a story, or it may be saying something that we can think about it in the external world, but the real meaning is hidden, and only one that can understand the subtleties of spiritual practice can understand it. So this study of the Gita here, of the Bhagavad Gita, is not to know the story. How is the story? Oh, and Krishna said this, and Arjuna said that, and Dhritarashtra, and Bhima, and Duryodhana, and that's how the story happened. In this one killed that one, and here we want to call attention to the inner meaning. So we are concentrating on certain aspects. And at this moment, we are talking about this word, Bharata, which is just there in the verse, in the shloka, is just saying, oh, Bharata, but it has a very deep meaning. So development. Development, we come to this world on a physical body. This physical body develops. It develops, let's say, in size, but another very important development in the physical body is in the glandular system and in the capacity of this system. So it is said that it's also in the book of Shishyanandamurti that the physical body develops until the age of 39. So until the age of 39, body develops, and then the body starts to deteriorate. So it's very important that by that age, or before that age, we should have maximum knowledge of spiritual practices. Means we should have complete a system of spiritual practices so that we can utilize that body to the maximum to practice that system. So the physical body develops until age of 39. But psycho-spiritual development happens the whole life. Many times I say that human life is 100 years, so I made the figure there. I put here in physical development will go from 0 to 39, reach the top, and then from 39 to 100 it will deteriorate. But in the psycho-spiritual, it will, from 0 to 100, it is always going to be development. So in the whole life, there will be psycho-spiritual development. So we have these 100 years for our psycho-spiritual development. So the best utilization we can do to this body. And also Bharata was also used in this case, Bharata Varsha, which is, Varsha means a part of the planet. So Bharata Varsha is that part of the planet that was able to provide for all-round development. And that part of the planet on those days where the Aryans came to and they met a local population and there was a mixture, the Aryans found there a very good environment for their all-round development. And that mix was very positive of the mix of populations, different populations providing different knowledge and different capacities. So that is Bharatavarsha. So Krishna used this word Bharata because he was thinking about all this physical, psychic, and spiritual development of everybody. So that was the idea. So in the shloka, which was regarding the fight of Dharma and Adharma, is this shloka here, where the word Bharata is used. Jada jada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati Bharata. So, O Bharata, at a time when Dharma is distorted and Adharma is ascendant, then Chabhyuta Nama Dharmasya Tad Atmanam Srijam Yaham. So I create myself out of my own fundamental factors. Now this is a very important verse in the Gita, because here basically Krishna himself is telling that I come at a certain moment, and that's the moment when there is this big fight between Dharma and Adharma, and Dharma is going down. There is this word glanir. We are going to see this word later on, but glanir, which means that Dharma is below standard. It cannot be recognized anymore. It went below its standard. So when that situation happens, then Krishna himself will come so that he can help the, let's say, moralist people, the dharmic people in this battle, because they are really down, and that's the only way is if Krishna himself will come and give a hand. So that time, the historical time of the Mahabharata, was such that Adharma was dominating and Dharma was down. So that whole situation, what happened with the princes, the 5 princes, how they were treated and everything, and how their cousins took over the kingdom, and they were ruling in a very bad way. So Adharma was maximum, Dharma was completely destroyed. Now Krishna came and to reverse the situation. At this point, let me ask you a question. So that was a critical period that Krishna came, because there was that that fight of Dharma against Adharma, and Dharma was like not being able to overcome Adharma. So human beings didn't have the capacity to turn the trend. So what do you think about our times? Do you see similarities? Do you feel also this polarization, Dharma and Adharma, different forces fighting in today's society? How do you see it? Okay, I give more time so that more people can vote here. You have to click there on the answer. Okay, majority has done. I will close. Okay, so it seems that all of you think that yes, there is a lot of similarity between those times and our times. Okay, so we are also in a critical junction. All right, so that is basically what I wanted to present today. You can ask questions. I'll just do a summary, a review, and then I can answer any questions that you write. So basically, the class today was only 3 words: Bhagavad Gita and Bharata. Bhagavad Gita, okay. The importance because the whole course is the Bhagavad Gita. So now we have to know what's Bhagavan, we have to know what is Gita, and we go into a little bit more detail. Then we can have a perspective of the book. Okay, so Bhagavad Gita, the song of Bhagavan. So now we got the perspective that is the song of Bhagavan. That is the expression of Bhagavan. So it's basically Bhagavan is revealing his inner secrets in that Bhagavad Gita. So when we are reading this Bhagavad Gita, basically what are we reading? We are reading the secrets of Bhagavan. So now we have to, because Bhagavan will tell his secrets in a way, in a subtle way. Let's say it is not apparent in the words, so you have to see it deeper. No, so even the word Bharata is there. It's being used by Krishna to address Arjuna. So that is also an expression of Bhagavan. Bhagavan is using that word for a special reason. So in this case, the interpretation that we were seeing is that Bharata is related to all strata of life: physical, mental, spiritual. Now, I'm basing this presentation in the teachings of Sri Sri Anandamurti. So basically, his inner vision, how he is seeing the Bhagavad Gita, and I'm trying to bring that into the course. So that is the main idea. And the whole Bhagavad Gita is the expression of Krishna. And one very important point here is that in the Bhagavad Gita itself, Krishna is explaining why he came. So why he has to manifest himself in that way. So that's also he's expressing in the Bhagavad Gita. And that is like a teaching that doesn't stop there, it's coming up to now. Okay, so here are, we have a few moments for questions regarding the Bhagavad Gita. There was only one question so far, and I answered during the presentation, and I don't see any other questions? Maybe I took a little bit longer today. We still have a little bit time. But if there are no questions, then I will end the presentation. Oh, here, could all round, the comment or question, could all round progress mean all the koshas? Well, yeah, let's say all the koshas, plus if we include also the physical kosha, Annamaya kosha, plus the 5 mental koshas, so that will be development in the physical and development in the mental, psycho-spiritual. So that will be a complete development. Yes, we can say that. Plus, we have to think about the society also. We have to think. Let's say, let's put that the society also needs development, even though development in the physical world is limited, but it also needs a certain development in the organization of the society so that the society is conducive to the development of the people. So if we bring to the teachings of Sri Shivanandamurti, we can say the proud or the part is important. At the same time, for spiritual development, there should be a certain psychic or mental attitude of expansion, of inclusion. So then comes, let's say, the point of the intellect needs also development in the aspect of society or new humanism, so that there's all-round development of the whole society, and then the economic organization of the society, and then on the individual, all the 5 koshas, and including Annamaya kosha, and the 5 mental koshas. So that will be all-round development. All right, okay. So let's stop here today. Thank you for participating. And next week we don't have class. We have we have 1 week gap. Therefore, if you missed any class, you have time to review that class in the video, to a little bit get a vision of the whole course, and we'll continue the other week. Okay. Namaskar. Thank you.